Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Bets on Bets on Bets, Off the Ball Network's premier gambling show on Sunday mornings. We get you ready for NFL Sunday from a gambling perspective. I'm your host of the show, Kenneth from the Shooter Shoot Basketball Podcast, and I'm also joined by my co-host, Pat, from Say It Out Loud Sports Podcast. Pat, how you doing, man?
Doing good. I'm concealing my identity today because I went 1-2 last week. Finally had a losing record. And I had some bets yesterday, and this whole thing worked. So I'm wearing a beanie, glasses, and a hoodie today.
I like it. Yeah, I finally went 2-1 last week. I got off the skid. So looking to keep that rolling this week. I feel a big week coming for both of us. But before we get into today's show, this show is sponsored by Built Bar. Built Bar is the newest sponsor of the Off the Ball Network. If your kids find out how good these are, you are going to have to buy more. Built Bar has great flavors such as cookies and cream, strawberry peanut butter brownie, and so much more. Built Bar also now has a mystery flavor. If you guess the flavor correctly, you could win a prize. Use the promo code OFFTHEBALL in all caps at checkout to get a 10% discount at built.com. So yeah, overall record-wise, I'm still below 500, but I got one back last week. Pat's still rolling at 66% on the year. Still up 11 units overall, and that's what it's all about, is making money here at Bets on Bets on Bets. So we're going to get right into things with our Sunday bets, and Pat, I'll go to you first. What's your first bet for the day?
All right. I know the state of Ohio had a rough day yesterday with, Ohio State and all that shenanigans. Shout out Mo and the guys. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh going into Ohio and taking Cincinnati on. I'll take Pittsburgh plus 3.5. I just still don't trust the Bengals. I know they beat the Raiders in their last game, but we can't forget about that dreadful loss against the Jets or the beat down. I can't remember the other team that beat them down pretty well. The Browns put it on them. I like Pittsburgh. I know they're coming off the tie against Detroit and they blew the game against the Chargers, but the Chargers blew it first, so they both blew the game. I just think Pittsburgh at least covers the 3.5. It's a tight game, divisional game. I think Pittsburgh can run the ball. I don't trust Cincinnati's defense. Burrow, I don't like Joe Hayden's out, but I'll live with it. So I'm rolling with Pittsburgh plus 3.5 today. Earlier this week, it was 4.5 some places. So,
no, I like the Pittsburgh line too. I think overall they get a lot of their defense back, which was missing in that last game. So I think that goes a long way when it comes to Pittsburgh, because the offense overall hasn't been what's been winning them a lot of games this year. It's been the defense that has played really well. They had that shootout, obviously, with the Chargers. So overall, yeah, I like the bet today. Plus, I'm just not sold on the Bengals as a whole. Like, I think that they're a team that they picked up a couple wins early in the year, but they were a team that we were projecting not to win a lot of games this year. I think at some point they're going to start to come back down to earth. Even if they do win this game, I agree. I think it's really close. So I like the Pittsburgh bet there for your first one. My first pick is the team that beat Pittsburgh last week. I'm rolling with the Chargers minus 2.5 today. This is more so just me fading the Broncos more than anything else. I know that they're 5-5, but they're 2-5 in the last 7. They had that hot 3-0 start against some bad teams, and then I think they've come back down to earth. The Chargers won their last matchup by a field goal last year when they played. This is a better Chargers team than last year as well. I just think Denver, they played at home last week. They could only muster 13 points against the Eagles. Or a couple weeks ago against the Eagles. So I'm just not overly sold with Denver. Even at home, I know that it's a tough environment to go and play in, but overall, I think the Chargers are a better team. I think they win this game. Start to really challenge Kansas City once again in that division. And so I'm rolling with the Chargers this week. What do you think of the pick?
Yeah, I talked about this game on my show. This is the must-win game for the Chargers. I know they're only 5-5, but if they fall to 5-6 in that AFC, or 6-6. Are they 6-5?
I think they're 6-5 yet.
Right, but yeah, I think it's a must-win game for the Chargers. I mean, you got the Chiefs a half game ahead of them. Chiefs are on a bye this week; they can make some noise. And Denver's a tough team, though. I mean, I know you mentioned they only put up 13 against Philly last week, but Philly's defense has been playing really well lately. They need to come in focused. But I agree. I mean, if I had to play a side, I'm taking the Chargers, but I kind of stayed away from this game.
I would be concerned if the line was at -3 or -3.5. I like the fact that, they can win by the field goal. So that was more so why I was leaning Chargers more than anything else on this one, because I think if they do win, it is a bit of a closer game, but it should be by a field goal if they do win. So what's your second bet for today?
Let me go to the Washington football team. Monday Night Football, they're taking on Seattle. I know last week you made me root for Seattle. You took Seattle and they lost, so it didn't really come into play. Even though that was your 2-1 loss, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going against Seattle. I hate Seattle. We all know this. Washington football team is playing well though. They're coming off wins against Carolina and Tampa Bay. Seattle's coming off back-to-back losses. Russell Wilson, I don't think is fully healthy. They have no running backs. I mean, they have Alex Collins and DJ Dallas. That's it. Everybody else is injured. Seattle's defense isn't, what it used to be, and I kind of think they should tank. I mean, there's not really great picks, but Washington football has more to play for right now. I'm taking them at home Monday night. It's basically a pick them -1. I think they get it done. They're playing well.
Yeah, I just don't think Seattle has a lot to play for anymore. They're at 3-7. I don't see them making the playoffs this year now. I think they're pretty much out of it. So I just don't see them coming in with a lot of fight. This is a team that Washington needs to win. You look at Philly, they've got the Giants today. That's a pivotal game for them. And so Washington's got to keep pace at least within the division with them, and it could get them into the playoff hunt. So Washington tomorrow, I mean, -1, I think it's a great play. It's one that I like as well. So I'm with you on the Washington football team. Plus Seattle, yeah, I'm a little bit salty about last week. The fact that you're at home and you're going up against a backup and you can't win that game. It's a little bit concerning for me. So I like Washington to win this week. I'm starting Taylor Heineke in fantasy more so because my QB is on bye week, but hoping for a big day from him against that pretty poor Seattle defense. My second play for today, I'm rolling with Leonard Fournette over 4.5 receptions. Last two games, Fournette's had 6 receptions for 39 and 8 receptions for 45. Over his last 5 games, he's also averaging 5 receptions a game. I mean, they've pretty much stopped using Ronald Jones. I know he got in the end zone in their last game, but that was kind of just like a TD vulture near the goal line. But Fournette's the back that they're using in Tampa. Tom likes to dump it off to his running backs quite a bit as well. They are playing today against a Colts team that they're a pretty solid defense, and I think their secondary is pretty solid. So I think it is going to lead to more dump offs as well. The line's at +110 for this one, so the fact that it's plus money on his receptions, I really like. So I'm rolling with Fournette today, over 4.5 receptions. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think last week he had 3 or 4 on the opening drive. I mean, yeah. Like you said, he dumps it off a lot. I'm surprised Gio Bernard hasn't gotten the mix more. I know last week he only had 1 target, one catch. But yeah, I mean, right now you got to go with the trend, and the trend is Fournette's going to catch 5 balls. So I like to play, especially like you said, at plus money.
I don't know. Is AB playing today? Have they said, or is he out this week?
He's still out.
He's still out. I think that factors in as well. The fact that he is going to have less weapons. Evans also, he came up last week. He looked like he was a little bit hurt. He's going to go today, obviously, but he did look a little bit banged up last week. So I think it's going to lead to some more dump offs for sure.
Colts, this game's going to be kind of surprising to me. I think the Colts kind of jump out quick, and Tampa's playing from behind a little bit. The line's only 3. It's kind of weird. It's in a dome. I think it's the highest total on the board this week too. I think it's 56, or the Packers might be, but I think it's gonna be kind of a shootout. So I think the number is a good one, 4.5. So
for sure. So what's your final play for the day?
All right, so I bet on a football team, which Taylor Heineke, we all know I love him. I'm gonna bet in a game that involves Mac Jones and Ryan Tannehill, which I don't really like, but I'm taking the over 43. Sounds crazy. It opened at 46.5 earlier this week. 65% of the money is on the under. You're looking at that Patriots defense, looking at what Tennessee did last week. Again, Tannehill threw 4 picks against the Texans, and they lost to the Texans. So, but the last 3 home games, I mean, the Patriots have won 45-7. I know it was the Jets, and they won 54-13 against the Browns. So that's way over the totals. And the one previous, it was 35-29 against Cowboys. So the home games are scored points. Their defense causes turnovers, creates short fields. I think Tennessee isn't going to be able to run the ball. I don't know how Tennessee's going to score, but I could see the game being even like a 30-14. I think the Patriots kind of run away with it, in the second half. But I think 30-14 is a reasonable score, and that gets it done. So I'm going to roll with I'm going to fade kind of the public, take the 3.5 points of value that they're giving me, and kind of pray that it gets the total.
Yeah, I think it all depends on how well Tennessee offense does today. Like if they can even get to 14, 17 points, then I think you're in a really good spot. As long as they don't get like blown off the field, then I think you're in a good spot with that one.
Right.
I mean, in this game, I even have Kendrick Bourne over 34 and a half receiving yards. The guy's averaging 50 on the year, and he's hit the over 5 out of 6 games. So that was the play that I took in that game. But overall, I like the play. I think 43, that's a really low line, especially when you look at like, I don't know, some of these other games with offenses that aren't as good and the lines are higher. So I like the play, and I like the fact that, I mean, if it's moving from 46 down to 43, that's pretty big. And it helps with the value side of things for you to take the over now at 43. My last play for the week, Cleveland plus 3.5. They finally get their 2 running backs back. They've got Kareem Hunt. Chubb's been back the last couple weeks, but I think when you throw Hunt into the mix, really helps that offense go. We know that Baker's not throwing it down the field a ton. Like, a lot of it's going to be run games and a lot of like screens and option plays and stuff. So I like the play for Cleveland there. I think Baltimore defense is still really banged up as well. This is a crucial game, especially for Cleveland, because Baltimore can probably afford to lose this game and be fine. I mean, they're the division leaders right now. But this is a really good football team that they're playing. I also think Cleveland's defense is going to step up. They match up well against Lamar, and I think they can stop their rushing attack a lot better. So that's why I'm rolling with Cleveland plus 3.5. What do you think of it?
Yeah, it's a tough game. I'm going to be. I haven't made my bet yet, but I'm probably going to tell you on that. I know it's a night game, so all the money's going to be rolling onto that game. I'm hoping the line goes up. I can't really see that happening, so I might jump on early, I guess. 3.5 though. That, like you said, the extra half point's key. Big divisional game. It's going to be a hard-fought game. Cleveland's defense has to be the one that steps up. I know a couple weeks ago I bet on them saying that, and they got wrecked. So hopefully that's not the case. But the Ravens team's up and down. So which Ravens team's going to show up? I know Jackson was sick last week. Hollywood Brown's banged up. We'll see. I think it's going to be a tight game. So I would take the dog with the 3.5. If Baltimore was plus 3.5, I'm taking that side. So.
Yeah, I think if it was even less, then I would probably just fade the game altogether. Like, if it's Baltimore minus 2.5, then I'm probably just staying away. I like getting the full field goal there. I think these division games are always really tight. I think it could come down to a last-second field goal, which means you're going to cover either way. So that's why I like this game for Cleveland. And yeah, I think they need it desperately. They're 6-5. When you look at that wild card chase in the AFC, it's absolutely wild right now. How many teams, like, they're 6-5 and they're the 7th seed currently in the wild card situation. So a lot of things have changed, especially with the Raiders winning this week. And then we talked about Tampa and the Colts. You've got Pitt and Cincy. Like, there's a lot of games there with some big playoff implications happening. So I think Cleveland steps up in a big way. But be sure to go check out Pat's show, Say It Out Loud Sports. Go check out my show, Shoot or Shoot Basketball Podcast. But most importantly, go check out the Off the Ball Network. We've got a ton of great articles over there. I've even started doing my daily betting picks over on Substack. Those are going to drop actually at 10:30, and I already gave away one of the plays in Kendrick Bourne. But go and check out those plays as well. Check out a lot of Pat's great work over at offtheballnetwork.com as well. Let's go and win some money today, folks, and we'll see you next Sunday.